Hey everybody, it's Thursday, February 28th. Just gonna make one little video today. I just gotta clean up some stuff here. Want to tend to these timeforchess.com games. It looks like I have a checkmate in 2. I give check with the queen. He retreats to king to h1. I give checkmate with rook to b1. Actually, I take that back. Rook to b1 is check. He can interpose with rook to d1. And then rook takes d1, checkmate. Alright, I'm going to put my rook at f8 on the c-file. Now the idea here is to press a very strong queenside attack. We both castled kingside. His kingside castle defense is stronger. But if I can break up everything on the queenside and gain tempo in the process, I can push that aggression towards his kingside. And be it that his king is at h1, it could be a death trap for him. Just going to see what else I have here that is time bank is being used. The time bank on this particular website, when you play correspondence chess, you have, X amount of days to make a move. Let's say it's 10. But then you also have a time bank. Let's say it's 7. And if you don't make your move in 10 days, your time bank starts to draw away. You lose days from that 7-day time bank, for example. When you deplete the time bank, then your game goes up to be available for your opponent to claim a timeout win, because you haven't moved within your allocated regular correspondence time day settings, and you've depleted your time bank. So the time bank never comes back. It's like a little security blanket, if you will. I used to play a lot of games on this website. I mean, I won't lie to you, I used to play about 1,000 at a time. But ultimately, it always came down to, you got to make your move in the last 24 hours. It used to really irritate a lot of players, and I understand why, but look, you signed up for this, it's a long game. So I'm trying to stay on top of this. I've got about 100 games now going on this website, and I want to get that down to 0, and then I want to start a few tournaments and really just try to make a point to, let's say, be punctual. Oh, my pharmacy filled a prescription. It's funny. That's this it's in this video. All right, so if I play queen to f3, even if they play f takes g5, that would be the pawn taking the knight, I could still play something like bishop takes d5 or queen takes d5. This is in essence like the fried liver or the lowly attack, where that knight on the king's side is ultimately sacrificed for the potential of winning back that knight. Let me just think about this. Yeah, I'm gonna do that move. Alright, let's see. Is there anything else? Here we go. This game of the time bank is being used. Let's see if we have any other ones. Oh, here we go. Alright, this is a French defense. Yeah, alright. I think I'm going to just kind of check in on some of my chess by post games. Yeah, I think that was a mistake. I can hold my ground here. Oh, I take that back. Hang on. Look, let's say something like this happens, right? Bam. Wins that bishop. Alright, so let's think here. You know, instead I'm going to impede that pawn's progression. If the d pawn takes the e pawn, that would be d takes e5. I could play knight takes e5, knight takes e5, bishop takes e5. Should be okay. Alright, yep, that's what we were talking about before. If you were watching previous episodes, if you will. I now am up a bishop. You know, I'm going to have to look a little closer at this game. My opponent is rated 2007. It's pretty strong. I mean, if you look at my current rating right now, I'm only at a 1774. However, if you go back into my past, there we go, 2030, on February 2nd, 2019, I beat Bulperd. So I feel I'm stronger than this opponent. And, you know, if we look at this current game, it's quite interesting. He has a rook. Two rooks rather. I only have one, but I have a knight and a bishop. So rooks are worth 5 points. So 2 rooks are worth 10. My rook is worth 5. Bishops and knights are worth 3. So right there, when you look at this major material, he has 10, I have 11. Queens negate. Let's look at the pawns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for black. 1, 2, 3, 4 for white. So we're pretty much equal on material. I believe we're exactly equal. But the difference here is something that can become critical and crucial in a lot of games. When you look at material differences between yourself and your opponent, the quantitative value is one thing that you can consider. But in this case, I have 3 pieces. I call them major. I think some people call them minor material. They call them minor because they think queens are major. But let's get rid of the queens. No queens, right? What is left? Black has 2 rooks. I have a rook and a knight and a bishop. So that's 2 pieces versus 3 pieces. So as far as mobility, connectivity, I have an advantage. You know, connectivity is one term that is used. Combinatorial is another term. When you look at a position, or when you look at the board, you analyze the position. The position is simply where are the pieces, how are they positioned. Most specifically, you look at the pawn structure. But combinatorial play, so you have positional play and you have combinatorial play. So my positional play is a little weak. His is a little stronger because of his pawns. I have an isolated pawn on d3. I have an isolated pawn on was that A, B, C, D, E, F, G3. So I have 2 isolated pawns. His pawns are connected entirely. Yes, they're on either side of the board, queen side and king side, but that's okay. So his position is a little stronger. So his positional play is a little stronger. But my combinatorial play potential is a little bit better than his because I have one more piece that can work in combination with the others than he does. He has 2 rooks. Again, we're not thinking about the queens. 2 rooks. I have a rook, a knight, and a bishop. So I have 3 pieces that can work in combination versus 2 rooks. And if you know your end games, and even in your middle game, which this is kind of where we're at, rooks work best when they work together. When they're filed up together, when they're ranked up together. Filed up is very strong. Ranked up is strong too. But when the rooks are connected, which means they're on the same rank or they're on the same file, they both support each other in attacks and help defend each other. But the thing is, that's only 2 pieces and they're limited to ranks and files. But here I have a rook, a bishop, and a knight. That's very interesting because that combinatorial play potential probably outclasses 2 rooks alone. I have diagonals I can work with. I have the knight, the most unique piece, right? We like to think that the queen is the powerfulest piece on the board, and yeah, she is. The queen is very powerful, but the knight is so unique. If you were to take a piece and put it in the center of the board, like the queen, and you were to look at the diagonals and the orthogonals, orthogonal is up and down, left and right in layman's term, lines that the queen can move on, the first squares that are vacated because the piece can't move there, the knight fills in. So the knight here can be very critical in gaining a win here because it can help fill in those gaps that my rook and my bishop, and again a queen is like a rook plus a bishop, can't supply. So the combinatorial play potential of these 3 pieces I think far outclasses my opponent's 2 rooks. I'm just going to close with that. I need to kind of take a little bit more look, take a little bit of deeper look at this game here, and I'll check in again. Take care.